Hey, YouTube, Fired Up Trucker here. Fired Up Trucker here. It's a great day today. Why? Let me just reach in my pocket here and show you something. Not my money. Got two things here. I'm not going to give you real close looks at them, but I'm going to give you looks at them. Right here is my score sheet for yesterday. My CDL road test. My CDL road test, and you are looking at Fired Up Trucker. That's my temporary license. I passed. I passed the road test. Man, you know, it seems like, you know, you've seen my videos, and I really don't try to hold anything back. I try to be as transparent and real with you guys as possible, because I don't want to paint a perfect rosy picture out there for anybody that's thinking about getting into trucking. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know what the application, recruiting process, and going through school, and I didn't know any, you know, it was, I said, hey, I'm going to go into this with the best attitude, a good attitude like I always have, and it doesn't mean that you don't get upset. Just because you're a positive thinker and you're into personal development and motivation, inspiration, encouragement, it doesn't mean that bad things never happen. It doesn't mean that you don't ever get upset and you know, with things that are going on. But what happens is when you prepare yourself by reading positive motivation or listening to or watching it, it makes those times shorter. The time that you spend dwelling on the negative things, it might last a minute, it might last, you know, an hour, a day, whatever. But maybe in the past you would dwell on those things for, you know, a long time, like weeks or months or years or whatever. But when you finally gain, it's like gaining control of your emotion and gaining control of what you're going to let lead your life. And I decided to leave to let positive and inspiration and motivation lead my life, okay, along with my faith. So anyway, so I get up yesterday morning, and of course we all know that Bill, Tropical Storm Bill, was coming up from the coast, the Gulf, and was supposed to be here Wednesday morning. Well, guess what was Wednesday morning? 8:20 a.m. was Fired Up Trucker's scheduled time for his road test. So when I got up yesterday morning, of course, I looked on the weather, I pulled up the radar, and that sucker was, if you go to Fired Up Truckers group on Facebook, you'll see the picture I posted. That thing was just like a hurricane, just like the tropical storm was right around our area, just as thick as could be. It was right there. So I knew that more than likely, if they continued the road test, that I was going to be doing my road test a very, very good chance in rain, wind, whatever. So, it's wonderful, you know, it's just added pressure, right? Well, you know what? I tend to thrive on pressure. I might not be as positive about pressure, but I thrive on it. It just, I don't let things outside my control what I can control. So I know I can control what it took to get the job done. And so anyway, just a real brief recap. I drive in the morning to the terminal in Hutchins, which is about a 30-minute drive from my house. Raining the whole way. Sometimes light, sometimes hard. Got into some traffic on 20. There was a wreck in the left-hand lane. I was in the right-hand lane. Got through that, got to the terminal, and was waiting around. And, of course, you know, I was supposed to meet the guy that was going with me at 7. And I think about 7:15, the other person that sets all this stuff up for me had texted me and said, "Hey, you here?" And I said, "Yes." I walked in there, and he said, "Well, here's the truck number. Go start it up, make sure it's running and everything, the truck that you're going to take." He said, "I don't think it's hooked up to a trailer yet." So I went out there, found the tractor, and started it up and made sure the paperwork and everything was in there. So remember that. Remember, no matter what happens, one of the first things the examiners are going to ask for, at least in Texas, is they're going to ask you for your registration and your insurance for your truck. And your driver's license. So So anyway, and then the gentleman that was going with me showed up, and he said, well, he goes, there's a brand new trailer on the lot. Let's take it so we don't have to worry about anything. Went over there, and he didn't know if I knew how to couple, uncouple, or nothing. A lot of times these guys are so busy, they go through so many guys, they don't know what stage of the game you're in. And he said, well, I'll meet you over at the fuel station or the fuel line, you know, when you get it hooked up. I said, okay. He didn't know that I just had learned last week how to couple, uncouple, do all that. So I hook up the trailer, I go meet him over there, and we drive out. And, of course, it's raining. 3 miles from the testing facility, the driver's side windshield wiper just quit working. It was like flopping, and then it just stopped even flopping. I was like, oh, great. I'm going to have to reschedule my test because my windshield wiper ain't working. There ain't no way an examiner is going to let you go if your windshield wiper fails, because they check it. When they check the front blinkers and everything, they'll go like this, and you do your wipers. And if it doesn't work, and it's raining out, there's a storm like that, you ain't going to get... So anyway, so we got there and finally got to... Finally, Reggie, or I just gave the name out. He was able to find someone to lend us a vice grips and got the bottom bolt on the base of the windshield wiper tightened up, and it worked. Thank God. Anyway, not going to go through the whole test with you. Just want to say is be prepared. My examiner was incredible. It was like an angel, right? I mean, she was just, she just said, look, be yourself. When you're doing, I just want to know, as far as when you do your brake test, this is what I'm looking for. Just do it like you do it when you get in your truck in the morning. Just, you know, just run through it. So, had a hiccup there. So my heart stops in the beginning. Not a hiccup with me, with the truck. I had done one like just 15 minutes before. Just ran through it just for the heck of it by myself. And everything was fine. On this particular truck, there's no brake pedal service brake gauge. There's a primary tank and a secondary tank gauge. Blah, blah, blah. So on your second part of your brake test, which is your applied, and you're supposed to put 90 pounds of pressure PSI on there for 60 seconds, and it can't lose more than 4, this needle did this. My heart was stopping. Because if you fail your brake test right there, you don't go any further. You got to reschedule. And she's like, well, how's it going? I'm like, I said, I don't understand what's happening. I said, I just did this. Everything was fine. She looked over there. Now, I know that on the videos that I watch with Texas Test Truck, he says, don't be a super trucker. But this wasn't a super trucker deal. It didn't just move a little bit, like a percent. That's when he says, you know, don't say anything if it just moves a little bit, because then you're going to start a whole big deal. They're going to say it's not working. This thing literally dropped like this. It went all the way down to 60 to where the indicator light came on for the primary tank. I'm like, oh my God. So she said, so what I didn't give her the chance to say, well, you failed, you need to do this. I said, you know, what I would do next is, for the next part of it, what I would do is I would fan the brakes down to 60, checking the low pressure warning indicators and audio. And from there, I would continue fanning down to between 25 and 45 PSI when the spring brakes, emergency brakes would come on and the knobs would pop out. And she said, you know what? Go ahead and do that. So she let me continue. She goes, look, just promise me if we're on the road and this thing loses pressure, you'll stop the truck. I said, I'll do it. I wouldn't do anything else. Absolutely, I will. She said, Jim, you didn't fail the brake test. You passed 2 out of 3 or 3 out of whatever. She goes, the truck failed the leak part. So anyway, a couple other things happened throughout. For the most part, after the test, it did rain on the second half. It started raining really good. As a matter of fact, right before I got on my little short highway deal, you have about a little mile stretch of highway that you have to get on going back to the testing center. But for the most part, you know, everything went fine. I had gone the week before, drove the route, followed another company truck while they were on their test, because I didn't want to have to go a second time. And, you know, some things out of your control, which there was a couple things trying to keep me from having control, like the weather, the windshield wiper. We got through it all. Just breathe. Just breathe in through your nose, reset your body, relax, and just do what you do. Don't let the situation get the best of you. And I almost did during parts of it. I had a start that went boom, 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 and I was able to reset and get through it. So make sure you do that. But man, I'm fired up. I got that CDL. I got my 2 endorsements, my tanker, my doubles and triples. I added that on there. And so now I went back to the, I drove back to the yard, and you know, we had that tropical storm, and that at the time, the wind, it was coming in, the wind was blowing like from the west to the east, so it was going around like this, and I'm going down, driving south on 635 through Mesquite and Balch Springs, and that wind was just nailing the side of the trailer, and it's an empty trailer. I look over, and Reggie's like, that wind's pretty bad. I said, yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, I was really doing everything I could to keep it where it was. So that was a situation that I was able to get through. I couldn't wait to get 20 heading west, where I would change the direction, you know, and then it would be hitting the back of the truck. It wouldn't be so bad. But so that was one thing. Got back to the yard. My guy there said, hey, just need to get a copy of it. Congratulations. He goes, when do you want to get out on your training? I said, that's up to you, as soon as possible. I said, if you want to wait till after Father's Day, no problem with me. And that's it. So I look to probably start my over-the-road training sometime next week, hopefully. Hopefully I don't have to wait longer than that, but it is what it is. Ready to get it going. Ready to get that knowledge, some more experience, and just, you know, keep getting closer to that goal. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your guys' support, by the way. Thanks for watching the videos, and hopefully that all this has helped you. I mean, I know some of you are already drivers or whatever, but hopefully somebody sees this, that it will help them prepare themselves for going through the process. And all the way from application and recruiting to getting your CDL, now you're going to start seeing, you know, what's going to go on in the next few days while I'm getting ready for my, I'm going to come up with some videos for that, things that I'm getting ready, things that I'm purchasing to take with me to get ready for the road. So I'll probably do some videos on that while I'm waiting to get out on the road. And then once we get on the road, baby, that's when it's going to happen. That's when the videos are going to come out. Anyway, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Get down below. Give me some comments. Come over to the channel, Fired Up Truckers. Like Fired Up Trucker. Like the videos. Comment on the videos. Share the videos if you get value. And subscribe to the channel. Come over to Facebook. Friend request me or follow me, Jim W. Hammonds. That's how you can find me. And then join the Fired Up Truckers Facebook group. It's just small right now. This has only been going on for 2 weeks since I started this whole process. So let's get it up there. See you on the next video. Fired up.